Back with a new season. Beyond the Locker Room presents to you once again Double Barrel Shotgun with my boy Eve here. Football season's back.
Bang, bang.
So here we go. Oh, I can't wait to hear that music again. So it starts Thursday night, Steelers Patriots. But right now we're gonna go through our AFC preview, and go through all who we like for each division, and also who our wild card teams will be in the playoffs. So let's see what we have here. So we're gonna start with the East and work our way towards the West. So AFC East, Eve, man. Here we have in this division, just in case no one knows this case here: Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots, of course. So
well, I think that there's gonna be I think this is gonna be a stranglehold. I think that was the last last 10, 15 years has been basically all Patriots.
Yeah. I think one year the Jets slipped in and beat them.
Yeah,
I think it's the year when Brady got injured.
That's the year Brady got injured again in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So man, I'm gonna choose the Patriots. I think that they're gonna try to prove a point.
Yeah.
Especially after this whole nonsense that occurred. It wasn't really legit. Even though it was nonsense. You know what? There's still a lot of funny stuff going on in that business, dude. Like that milk ain't clean from Brady's standpoint. I don't care what anyone tells me. No matter what.
Yeah.
But I think that they're gonna still. I think you're gonna see a little bit. You're gonna see some things going on with the Patriots this year. I think unless Brady gets hurt or something significant happens, I think Belichick's gonna come and do some stuff, and he's gonna say, "Okay, boys, we're coming after folk now." So you know what I mean. So defensively, they may not be the greatest, but they still hold that division, man.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the problem with this division has always been there's never been enough quality quarterbacks in the division. Mm-hmm. Right now, and this year is so apparent to see that because I think each one of the other three teams have some really strong, skilled players surrounded, as support pieces. Buffalo's done a great job of the offseason. Miami's kind of bulked up a little bit on their side a little bit, and definitely, in this case, the Jets as well has too. But the quarterback position,
most important part,
right? I mean, Tannehill's easily the second best quarterback in the division, and he's like,
Yeah, exactly. He's like that Matthew Stafford kid.
Right. He's a classic 9-7 quarterback.
Correct.
Right. So I think in this case here in New England, I think it's the easiest pick in any sport when it comes to a division, winning a division. So I mean, we won't spend too much more time on that. Let's move on now. We'll work our way. We'll head up a little bit to the AFC North, where a certain team usually rules the roost. So
usually.
Usually, yes.
Usually.
Yes.
This one's gonna be a very interesting division.
Once again, I'll clarify in this case here. I'm talking about just in case you folks at home that don't know, and you're joining the show and don't know football, you want to learn more about it. We're talking about the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and Browns in this case. Just in case.
We have to break it down, man.
You gotta break it down just in case. You got some newcomers in the case.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't assume.
Yeah.
But but this year I'm definitely gonna come. This year I'm gonna definitely say. I think I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens on this one this year, B. The reason being because I'm a little concerned about the Steelers' defense. A lot of changes this year. They're going to be playing a hybrid, as mostly everybody does, a hybrid 4-3-3-4. New defensive coordinator. They got some youngins. That's good. But if the preseason is an indicator, which it's not necessarily, but they still been giving up some big yardage, and the defensive side of it is really the aspect of what makes are they going to be a bend but not break defense, or are they going to be a steady, the traditional in your face Steelers?
Well, here's my thing. I like the Steelers to win the division. True, maybe some bias, but I also think Pittsburgh has the most talent of all the four teams out there, to be honest with you. I know Cincinnati's got great receivers, so I get that. But I think if you're just looking at overall, I think Pittsburgh's got more weapons on both sides of the ball in my mind than most of the other teams. Baltimore's pretty close in some respects as well too. But my thing with Pittsburgh is this: I think the defense. Everyone looks at the defense and say, okay, last year the defense didn't play so great. But when you saw at the end of the season, and those young boys got a chance to play, that defense actually got better as the season went along. And I think that experience the young guys got last year is going to help them in spades this year. And they had guys that were hurt that really should be playing, man. So I mean, you got what's his name? My boy. Yeah.
Jones.
Jones
is always hurt though. He's been hurt for the last 2 years. So you know what I mean. So
they added Boykin for some depth in the secondary. I think they got they have enough in this case that I think they can, the question with the Steelers always can they get a pass rush. I'm not too concerned about, I'm not too concerned about the yardage at the moment because I think the Steelers are one of those teams because they have so many different type of complexities on their offense. They play very vanilla, I think, in the preseason. So,
but create a lot of turnovers, though, B. That's the thing that's been surprising for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's the part I was going to mention, too, because I think late as the second half of the season started, they started starting to create turnovers, which they weren't doing at the beginning of the season. I think it took them something like 7 games before they got their first fumble recovery. Yeah, I was like, really? Which is unheard of for a Steeler team. So I think, and funny enough, Harrison actually was one of the guys that kind of triggered this change when they brought him back.
Because he was starting to come back. And that's where they got to go. That's where they have to be. I just think that if the linebackers and the linemen, as you said, lack of a pass rush.
Yeah.
If they can get it from, because I think that they want to get it now more down from their 4-down linemen.
Yeah.
If they can actually exhibit some of that, because remember, Tomlin's really a 4-3 guy. He's not a 3-4.
No. And I think, and just to go through the other teams, just quickly, I think Cincinnati, in my mind, I think is going to regress a little bit this year. I just feel like Cincinnati's reached a plateau that you can't get any further. It is what it is, and it's a quarterback league. And Andy Dalton, we're talking about 9-7 quarterbacks. Essentially, that's another dude like that. I just don't see it with those guys. I don't know how long it is before Green starts barking.
And he can get a contract extension the way that everybody else did.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to start getting real frustrated quick if a lot of nonsense starts off early for Cincy. Cleveland.
No, it's Cleveland.
Who was starting for them at quarterback? I lost track.
Well, gosh, who's it? Josh McCown.
That's right. The boy from Chicago.
Right. So that means Manziel will be coming in after like week 2 or 3.
But that was exactly. That's the thing I want to get to with Manziel. The question is that you got to figure out if this dude can play or not. So for them to actually bring in McCown, you got to think to your point. Either A, he's just kind of warming the seat for Manziel, or they really have no faith in Manziel whatsoever.
I don't know, man. It's just a mess up in that thing. But the thing about it's a shame because Cleveland has a really good defense.
Their defense is tight. Yeah, there's no two ways about that.
No shame.
No doubt. Moving on now, man. Quickly now, AFC South. I must admit, this division has never had interest. No disrespect, Floyd, my cousin, in case folks don't know, Indy fans. So Indianapolis, Tennessee, Houston, and who am I forgetting on this division? Jacksonville. See, they're forgettable. They shouldn't be in the league at this point. You could probably move in Toronto, man. So here we go. Little plug there. I see you, MLSE. I see you. So oh boy, it's Indy's division, man. This is almost like a New England situation.
Yeah, man. They run the roost. But I do think I have some big expectations for Indianapolis, though. I'm a little concerned because there's a lot of turmoil going on over there because after they got their butts smacked, even with the whole Deflategate nonsense, whatever, the game was over by the second quarter. I think
the bloom is coming off the rose for Luck this year if things don't get done. And I understand everyone wants to say,
nah, man, this ain't all Luck's fault, man.
No, that's the first thing everyone says. I grant you that. It's not Luck's fault all the time, but at times it is Luck's fault at this point here. And when you're running for your life and you have no true, I hear the New England game was not easy, but I think in this case here, last year I don't think he had a great season overall. I think he had some games where he's really good and other games where it's it started from the end of the season before we had 6 picks or something against KC. He had games where it's the numbers look great, but you look around, he's got 3 turnovers. What's that game? The Sunday night game I think they're playing?
Yeah, that big game where man, it was kind of crazy.
Dude, and another one against Dallas, I think, where was another one. I think where it was really some things. I think in this case here, because it's Luck, he's got the pedigree, he's got some respect obviously for what he's done already, and the fact that compared to everyone else in his class, he obviously he looks like
everybody knew he was going to be.
No doubt, but I'm just saying the comparison makes it easy. Hey, he's not the boss, he's the thing. He's the dude. But I think you got to start looking at him in a different way now. You can't frame him as with those guys. You got to be looking at him as premier quarterbacks.
Right.
At some point, you can't tell me that he's working with any more or less than what Aaron Rodgers is working with. You think? Let's call a spade. Brady in this case, if you get past Gronk, really? Okay, so let's really the only person really, to be honest with you, the most extent is Peyton. He's got weapons around him. Of all the top dudes, you really think about it. The other dudes have maybe one guy, And and probably Pittsburgh probably be the next one. I think now that Bell's coming to those running back, you can say where Pittsburgh kind of can play in that ball game, but the rest of the top quarterback is pretty much like who? So I was just saying about who he's got to play with. A lot of the other dudes don't really have in this league nowadays. They get stiff from anywhere they want to. They go and catch a ball. That's about it. You don't need
hey man, I've been a luck guy since like Lord knows how long. So I'm gonna be a homer.
I like luck too.
Time, it's like if you're the guy takes a lot of licks.
I'm not
a lot of hits.
Yo, he ain't the only one that takes a lot of licks.
I don't know. They haven't gotten him a good offensive. They haven't built an offensive line around him for some reason.
He ain't the
so
first.
I think that the turmoil that's going on with the front office is going to start to spill on the field. So, but I think that they should win the division though.
Yeah, Houston's always a wild card.
Nah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. Foster obviously hurt. You don't know what.
Again,
yeah. That really puts their hopes back. Throws their back. And then you look at Tennessee. I don't know what to make of them.
The only thing that's good about Tennessee is that they got two good things that they got going for them. Because I think Wisenhunt is a good coach.
Yeah, he's
I think he's a decent coach. If they can develop Mariota, maybe that could help out. I don't expect them to be in the playoffs. Yeah. But they also have LeBeau there defensively. And Tennessee was always it wasn't the
They were competitive last year.
They were competitive.
Yeah, they played hard the defense against side, man. They were competitive. So, who knows if the rookie can squeeze out a couple of games. They might be looking at 8-8, maybe backdoor a playoff spot. I don't think 8-8 is going to get playoffs, though. No, I don't think 8-8. No, I don't think 8-8, even 8-8 can get you in the playoffs in the AFC. I don't see it. So let's move on now to the AFC West, which is probably the most compelling division in the conference. Maybe that in the AFC North. I think the North is actually the most compelling because I think last year they had 3 teams in the playoffs. So AFC North, but AFC West has some interesting sidebars and interesting things when it comes to Denver and Peyton, and also Kansas City. I mean, the obvious is to pick Denver, but something about this I just don't know, man. Like I might go and take San Diego's always that team's on the cusp. And I always
peaks at they always peak at
the last second when they realize that, oh damn, we missed the playoffs and they come on strong. But I think
that's basically it.
I think the Chargers win the division, man.
You know what? I think they're going to win the division because a couple of things. Number one, I like the rookie that they picked up in terms of the running back. I know you're not supposed to go so crazy about rookies and especially running backs, but Gordon's a beast. Gordon's a beast. He fits for what they need.
Watched him in college.
Phillip Rivers is who he is, and he's consistent. I think that even with Gates being suspended for, I think, 6 games or whatever, because of the whole PED stuff or whatever, I think that I've seen enough of them. I think they're going to move the ball around, and you'll be surprised. And defensively, they are good. I'm not really going to choose too much on the Broncos. I know they're going to get in the playoffs, sure. Because Kubiak is now the offensive coordinator. I think Kubiak's the head coach.
Right, yeah.
And they're, and that means they're going to be doing a lot of running plays. And I think probably the less of Peyton's probably going to be the better.
Well, play action can be all over that.
Correct. Yeah. But if they can get the running game going and the offensive line situation resolved, maybe they'll get in the playoffs. But honestly, I think the Chargers will win the division.
I mean, I'll eat this hat here, man. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Manning's arm is dead. It's dead. And I don't even think weather is the issue now. I mean, last year, even when the weather wasn't that bad, they just had nothing on it. And I just don't see them getting away with that, as the season goes on this year. They'll make the playoffs, they'll squeak in. I think they'll get in. I don't want to tip my hand too much, but I don't think they're going to be this dominant force with 13-3 and stuff like that. I think those
and the other thing is that I think he's already put in an excuse, not saying an excuse.
The fingertips?
About the fingertips thing, right? So I'm hearing all that, and I'm like, okay, so the commentators and everything will bring that up and say, Peyton's just not the same because of the fingers, or his arm tickling and stuff.
He's the Phil Mickelson. He's the Phil Mickelson in the NFL.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, no, always got an excuse ready to pull out of the back pocket. Anyways, let's move on here now, man. Let's get our picks. So right now, who you had your 4 division winners you had, were roll them off.
Okay, so for the East, I had obviously New England. For the AFC West, I had the Chargers. For the North, I had Baltimore. And for the South, of course, Indianapolis.
Who's your 2 wild cards?
Okay, so I actually chose the Broncos, obviously, for one of the wild cards. And I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Okay. So there's your two wild cards there. Okay, I'm going. Ours are going to be pretty similar in this case here. New England, as I said before. San Diego Superchargers. Steelers to win the division, the AFC North, and then I also have Indianapolis to win the South. I think in this case, Denver's going to make the playoffs with my wild card, and my second wild card in this case, I will give to. They find a way to get in there. I hate to say it, the Ravens. Mm-hmm. It even hurts me to say it, but that's who I have, man. So there we go. We pretty much just flip flopped our AFC North picks in this case. I think I think that's about it. Yeah, we just flip flop AFC North picks for us. So I think that's where everyone sees the teams are outside looking in this year. I think it'll be Cincinnati, Kansas City, and Buffalo. I think who's going to improve. I think, but I think they're still going to be just a bit out of the picture.
Yeah, the quarterback situation, I totally agree.
I didn't trust no rookie in that situation.
Yeah, and I'm not choosing Tyrod Taylor, no disrespect, but, I got Buffalo sniffing in, but I don't know if they'll get in because I think the quarterback will take it. The quarterback issue will definitely start showing his head.
So there we go, folks, man. That's the AFC picture right there for you, man. Where can the good folks find you, Eve?
The good folks can find me at YCharlem. At Twitter.
Okay, and you can find me at Beyond Locker Room, short form RM as usual. Guys, man, that's the AFC preview. Stay right here. Click above in this case to check out the AFC preview coming up.